Cast Iron Bandito, and I have come here to kick some bad games butt. Hello and welcome to the Cast Iron Bandito show. Today I'm going to be talking about Lethal Weapon on the Super Nintendo. Basically, making a game adaptation of Lethal Weapon wasn't a bad idea, because of course it was a movie about a guy who becomes a cop, and of course he has to become partners with another cop. So, the premise of Lethal Weapon was good. And it had lots of action. Of course, it starred Danny Glover and Mel Gibson. So, how could you make a game based on Lethal Weapon? And how could you fuck it up? Well, the answer comes to the Nintendo version. They fucked it up. Why? Because the Nintendo version was shit. It was garbage. And yes, I know I never played the Nintendo version of Lethal Weapon, but I've seen at least gameplay footage of it. And I've heard the Nintendo version is supposed to be too easy. So basically, the Nintendo version of Lethal Weapon sucked. But this game is on Super Nintendo, so it can't be that bad, right? Well, of course, there are plenty of Super Nintendo games, and the Super Nintendo is not well known for having bad games. And that is something. So we're gonna play it and find out if it's bad or not. Lethal Weapon for the Super Nintendo was released in 1992, and at the time, Lethal Weapon 3 was out, so it is already an indication of a red flag. So here we go into the mission select screen. And it's a lot like games like X-Men for Sega Genesis, where you can select your own level. So basically you just hit up on the D-pad, go to whatever level you want to go to, and that's it! So here we go into the game, and unlike many games where B is attack and A is jump, it's the total opposite. And like in the movies, you have a gun, but you can't shoot while climbing, which is really a problem because there are these guys on the ledges there trying to shoot at you. And also there are these guys that are trying to charge at you. So the only way to avoid them is to wait. And also, why does there have to be a time limit? And another thing is that there are these guys who are throwing wrenches at you. Which is really insane. And, well, as you know, you could swim with the D-pad. And you have to avoid sharks. Is this like a game based on Lethal Weapon or Jaws? Because I don't remember when Mel Gibson had to swim away from sharks. Man, and you know what's sad about this thing? Is that it's only the first level and I couldn't even get past. But also, are these guys trying to charge at you walking or running? Well, unlike the Nintendo version where, even though I've played it, but I've heard it's supposed to be too easy, this game is too hard! Because of all the guys that charge at you at long range. Well, that's the first level. And it's too hard. So, I'm going to try to beat the first level so we can see what the other levels look like. And by the way, you don't have to do this. Because basically, there's a mission select screen and you can select whatever level you want to go in. But just for curiosity, let's see what the other levels look like. Well, I couldn't beat the first level, so let's take a look at the rest of the game anyway. So here we go into the second level. It's like a sewer level. And oh my god, there are these crocodiles. Remember that from the movie? Remember when Mel Gibson had to swim from crocodiles? And even worse, there are these guys with bazookas. Oh my fucking god, once again, it is hard. But the music of this level is great. It sounds like music that could have been used in Sailor Moon R for the Super Famicom. And it's actually better music than the first level. Well, I mean, it's actually better their tune than the first level. And it's pretty good, but the level is hard. It's too hard. And I think this tune sounds familiar to me. Is it me, or does it sound like Knight Rider? Because I've seen Knight Rider. And there are these spikes which are instant death. It doesn't matter if you have full health or not. You touch one and you're dead. Well, like the first level, I couldn't beat it. And I tried as hard as I can, and I played like difficult games like Sailor Moon R for the Super Famicom. But in these games, you could get past some of the levels. But in this game, I couldn't get past any of them. So, like the first level, I couldn't beat it. Cause of all the spikes, which are instant death. And of course, the bazooka men. And as you know, there is a way to avoid these spikes. It's by climbing on the chains. Yeah, remember when Mel Gibson had to climb on chains to avoid spikes? They obviously should put more levels based on scenes from the movie, because it's Lethal Weapon. Well, as I said, like the first level, I couldn't beat it. So I decided to skip the second level and let's go on to the third level. And not to mention, the music in this stage sounds really familiar. It sounds kind of like the Sailor Moon theme, or one of the theme songs once you race the Wanderers in Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero, even though this game came out before Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero. Man, I've been making a lot of Sailor Moon references, haven't I? Well, actually, I've been making 2. And yes, like the second level, it's also hard because of those guys using their flamethrowers. I mean, how are you supposed to avoid a fucking flamethrower? It's hard! and you can't shoot up, which is a problem, because in Contra you can shoot in any direction you can, and they're still like challenging games. Well, it's not much to say about this level. It's obviously a city level. And obviously, again, they don't have much characters used from the movie. So, we're on to the 4th level. So here we go into the 4th level. I also forgot to mention, you know how in the Nintendo version that you got plenty of health points? In this game, you only got 3 health points. And as you know, you think by a game called Lethal Weapon, there wouldn't be much platforming. Well, actually there is. There's lots of platforming, and it can get really frustrating because of all the guys that shoot at you. Well, as you know, it wouldn't be such a bad game except that it's too hard, and I couldn't even get past any of the levels. And obviously, like Wizard of Oz for the Super Nintendo and Terminator 2 Judgment Day on Nintendo, even though I never played these games, there's like a glitch where you fall through the platforms, which is annoying. But in this game, sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. You know what I mean? Once you jump on the platform, you fall. But it works once you jumped at the right angle. It's obviously a problem. And again, there are like these bazooka guys. So like, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd level, I couldn't even beat it. And also there's a 5th level, which is the final level in the game, I suppose. But it doesn't matter anyway, because this game is too hard. And you know what? The bazooka guys take like 3 hits, unlike any other enemy in the game, which take 1 hit. So, now we're going on to the conclusion. So, in conclusion, this game is fucking bullshit garbage. And I mean, it's too hard. Because of all the platforming you have to do, and all the bad guys you have to fight. So, it is just an example of a good movie turned into a shitty game. And I give this game a rating. And by the way, I have a new rating system. It's the out of 10 rating system. I give this game a rating of a 2.5 out of 10 because of its challenge. And obviously there's not much scenes that have anything to do with the movie. You think of a game like Lethal Weapon, they would include more scenes based on the movie. So in conclusion, go see the movies, but skip the games. And this game must deserve the Bandito punishment. Alright. It's time for me to take out this bad game. But there's one thing I'm too old for this shit. But let's do it anyway. And also, let's blow this game to smithereens. Well, that is obviously it for me, because all these games are bad, and they couldn't even make a good Lethal Weapon game. Man, that was enough for me, torturing myself with all these shitty games. But I gotta see what is behind that door. But I am scared to look though. Mother of God! Somebody wearing a phantom mask, holding a lightsaber. I can't believe this is happening to me. Besides, what does he want from me? This whole thing is scaring me. I have come here to make you review a shitty game. And I have come here to destroy you. Man, if you try to kill me with that lightsaber again, I swear to God, I'm gonna try to shoot you down with my zapper. And besides, I already tortured myself in playing a shitty game, which is Lethal Weapon for the Super Nintendo. No, Mr. Bandito, I have a shitty game for you to review that's equally as bad and as hard as Lethal Weapon, and it is The Adventures of Dr. Franken for Super Nintendo! And I swear to God, it is going to destroy you! Man, it just couldn't get any scarier, couldn't it? I guess we'll have to suffer the torture by playing a shitty game, which is The Adventures of Dr. Franken for Super Nintendo. I'm not gonna review this game, but if I don't review it, then that guy in the Phantom mask would kill me with his lightsaber if I didn't. I know I'm not gonna do it, but I'll have to do it.